know what the hell happened at halftime, but clearly the first 6 quarters of this Giants season is now in the rearview mirror, and they desperately needed the performance that we saw from them in the second half. It was a totally different team, a team that we expected to see certainly out of the gate yesterday, but we didn't. Either way, whatever happened there, whatever magic potion Brian Daboll gave his team at halftime, they looked like the New York Giants yet again.
Listen, you always want to appreciate wins, there's no doubt, and the numbers that Jones put up in the second, the numbers, just the pure look, the eye test, I mean, he looked like an MVP. That's how great Daniel Jones was. But the problem for me, and I almost don't want to do this on a Monday, but I can't help it, what does it mean? I know it means a win, and it means avoiding falling 0-2. And by the way, everybody else in the NFC East, Dallas, Philly, and the Commanders all 2-0. So if they would have lost yesterday, wow. I mean, it would have been the end of their season, seemingly. But are we supposed to look at these Giants? And maybe we are. Let's flush through it. I'm not there yet, despite the great win comeback. Are we supposed to look at them and say, all right, the first 6 quarters were the anomaly, or are we supposed to look at them and say the second half was more the outlier? What do you think?
I think more the second half. Now, again, forget the Cowboys game. I'm just going to throw that out. The Cowboys clearly played at a different level. But, I mean, that first half, they couldn't get a stop. They couldn't complete a pass. They couldn't do anything. And then the second half, Daniel Jones played like, to your words, not even mine, and I like Daniel Jones. You know, I'm talking about a top 10 quarterback. He played like an MVP. He threw the ball for 321 yards yesterday. That's what we were, at least I was expecting to see. So to answer your question, like, what did it prove? Dude, their season was over if they lost that game. They were playing like one of the worst teams in the NFL, and they came back, and not only came back, but they finished the job. They got a win that they had to do, that they had to have, and they did it in impressive fashion. For me, I'm coming away from that feeling great if I'm a Giant fan.
I'm not feeling great. I'm feeling relieved. I think there's a big difference there. No doubt it extends things. No doubt it sets up a different energy going into the quick turnaround game Thursday against the Niners, who are awesome. I mean, if you're 0-2, you limp it in there. Giant fans, of course, you're watching it, but you're watching with a different energy. Now it's like, you know, that spark is back. I get it. We've all been there as fans, but I just, they're not, I mean,
I
dude,
feel
it's the
confident.
Cardinals.
I know, I get it, but still, BT. I mean, think of the alternative. Like, I feel better about this team, and we'll see what happens with Barkley, who again got hurt. Unfortunately, he played his rear end off too, playing hard and passionate. It went from embarrassing again to as encouraging a second half as you can possibly have. So I got to feel good about this team. Now, look, going against the Niners on Thursday, short week, potentially without Barkley. Obviously, we know what a challenge that is. But I feel 1,000% better about the Giants now than I did at halftime, where I was like, oh, my God, this season's over.
I got you at halftime. See, there's 2 different measurements here. So, of course, when you go from halftime on, yeah, that's one emotion, and it's all positive. But in totality, you got to include the first half. I mean, you have to. That happened. So, I listen, Sal, I don't look at this at the final. At the 2 quarters here yesterday, third and fourth quarter, as some sort of springboard to something incredibly relevant this year. I just don't see it with this team. I don't. I don't think they're a playoff team. I said it coming into the season. And Barkley. How long is Barkley going to miss?
Yeah, maybe significant time here. We don't know. We'll hopefully find out at some point. Yeah.
Every year, Sal.
Yeah, it's frustrating. I know, and he played hard yesterday again. You know, Giants need him to be one of their more explosive players. Look, it was nice to see Jones do it through the air. Bottom line is, I know it was a crappy Cardinals team, but they were getting steamrolled in the first half. They did what they had to do to save their season for the moment. Now, there was another game that took place yesterday. And by the way, we'll take your calls at 877-337-6666. Brandon Tierney, Sal Licata. BT is in Dallas because he followed his Jets to Dallas, made the trip. Now, last week, BT, you said this team was unkillable. Yesterday, we watched the game. The Jets got killed. Your thoughts?
Well, I mean, they got smacked around. There's no doubt. You know, listen, and by the way, that whole unkillable thing was a more of a macro thing. The season didn't end. You know, it wasn't like so much a Dallas prediction. It was, there's a lot of football to go, and there's a lot of components to this team that I really like and I still believe in. But let me very quickly assign the levels of culpability, which will largely disagree with most of you. Number 1, the defense. Stop telling me how good you are, and the opening possession, have it shoved down your throat. That's number 1. Number 2, offensive line. Number 3, coaching. Not an ounce of creativity. Do you notice, by the way, Sal, I've listed 3 items off. I've yet to get to Zach.
Mm-hmm.
Now I get to Zach. See, there's the you're going to those who didn't see the game, those who were just predisposed, Zach sucks. And listen, he might not ever get it right. I mean, eventually we'll get an answer definitively one way or the other. It's one game. But the stat line was awful. But if you actually watch the game, even Aaron Rodgers, if he's out there, is not doing anything. Do you know that the offensive line for the Jets, this might be the most pitiful number I've ever seen, at least in a while. The center, McGovern, was rated 27 out of 27. The tackles were rated 47 out of 54. That's Becton. 54 out of 54. Dwayne Brown's done. Dwayne Brown's got to sit. And then Vera Tucker was 36 out of 56, and Tomlinson was 46 out of 56. Quite possibly one of the most pathetic displays of offensive line play across the entire NFL yesterday. What was Zach supposed to do? You tell me.
Well, let me ask you, BT, if you said, and you did, that the Jets had a chance to win that game, and you weren't alone, obviously, what would be the reason, though, that they would be winning that game in Dallas?
Well, the first thing, listen, I always thought that Zach would be along for the ride more than being the conductor. Listen, all the circumstances, the morale and Rodgers going down, I'm going to elevate the kid. He's back in there. He's learned a little bit. He's been around Rodgers. He's going to polish some things up. Okay, fantastic. And for the first 3 quarters, he showed signs of doing that.
But what would be the reason?
The defense.
Yeah,
the defense.
exactly right.
But that's what I'm saying.
Right, it's the defense. And the defense got smashed in the mouth right out of the gate. We talk about this defense. Last year was overrated, and again, here we are. Oh, the best defense in the league, and the Jets are going to be great. Well, no, because if you're that good of a defense, I don't give a crap who the quarterback is. You keep yourself in that game. You play defense, you run the football. That is how the Jets are built for success without Aaron Rodgers, and they didn't do it. They didn't play defense. They didn't run the football, not to mention that they have a quarterback who's not ready.
Twice they had a chance to leave a little imprint on the game. The opening drive, boom, 7-0. The absolute worst, start. You got 100,000 lunatics. The place was loud. Wow. It was popping. Everybody's waving their white flags, from not from a surrender point of view for us, for the Dallas, the Cowboys. That
Are
white
you sure?
flag. Well, give us a little bit of time here, buddy. We're not going to reach for that yet. Sal, you're right. That would have been, and then again, they did it in the third quarter. Jets got the ball to start the third quarter. What did the defense do? Tight game, 1 score. They allowed the Cowboys to score. So twice they had a chance to set a tone. And Sauce Gardner, listen, he's incredibly gifted, but you have a chance to make a pick 6 and change the entire complexion of the day, and you drop it. So the defense, reality check, guys. You're good. You're not nearly as great as you think you are. Stop tooting your own horn. Stop touting yourself. You got punked by the Cowboys offense.
And I do think it was a reality check for the Jets and some Jet fans who maybe got carried away after 1 week. It was a great win week 1, but back down to earth after that one. Now you reset and go into an all-important game 3 here, or week 3 against New England. Our friends at Town Fair Tire remind you that at Town Fair Tire, you always get the guaranteed lowest price on name brand tires from Connecticut to Maine. Nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Nobody. We're talking both Jets and Giants. Scott is in Hamilton. What's up, Scott?
What is up, Sal? Hey, Brandon.
Yes,
I
Scott.
came out of my hole, buddy.
Hey. Yeah,
Came out of my hole. By the way,
right out of the
Giants
gate.
Defense that's not supposed to be good gave up 40, but your top defense, what happened for 30 points there, boss?
Well, I mean, listen, I would enjoy the win. And if I were you, Scotty, I appreciate you being the first one in line here. We had a nice little exchange the other day.
For this.
Trust me.
I messaged Sal. I messaged Pete. Trust me, I was waiting.
Oh, no, I'm sure.
It's all in good fun, Brandon.
No, 100%, Scotty, 100%. I know it's all in good fun, and I know you've been waiting for it, but trust me, when you guys were down 20-0, I was trying to find your number. I was getting ready to call you at home. I was going to say, stay in your hole, Scotty.
Thanks for the call, Scott. Right out of the gate. Honestly, I didn't even realize that was him, BT. I should have known before I did.
Sure,
Peabody, I was getting messages yesterday. Hey, BT going to be there? Where's BT at? Oh, baby.
He's right here. BT ain't hiding. BT might be a little bloody today. BT's present. He ain't running. He ain't hiding. Bring it.
Unkillable. Eddie is in Rockland. What's up, Eddie?
Eddie.
Hey, fellas, what's going on? BT, I'm sorry for the loss, but you know what? I'm going to give you a name. Go get Mitch Trubisky. Go get the quarterback coach from the Giants who worked with him with Buffalo, whoever worked with him, and bring in Mitch Trubisky and try to salvage the season. He's only making like I think $7 million a year. He's probably making less than Zach Wilson. You know,
yeah, but you're not going to
do with Pittsburgh.
You're not going to start bringing coaches in. I mean, is this where? Okay, so I get it. The threshold, the willingness to give Zach more time to bake. Understood. It's expired for some of you, but realistically, Sal, when do you, let me remove myself from it for a moment. When do you think the real decision on Zach comes? How long?
Well, we said last week that a change would be made if needed after the bye week, right?
Yeah.
After watching yesterday, and I like Zach Wilson. Like, maybe you're at a different level of like for him, but I like Zach Wilson and don't think his career is over. However, I'm seeing the same things, and I don't think, BT, that start is going to do him any favors. He needs to be built up, not torn down. That's worst case scenario for him was what happened yesterday, losing, getting thumped on the road, throwing 3 interceptions, whether the game is all on him or not. It's not good. And if the Jets want to get to the postseason, and that is the obvious goal, they can't mess around here. This can't be evaluation. For me, there's one move to make. That's to go out there and get Matt Ryan. I've talked about that many times. I said it in the offseason before I thought about Aaron Rodgers being a realistic possibility. They cannot mess around. The plan this year was to develop Zach Wilson. So now all of a sudden it's, hey, Rodgers is out for the year. It's not going to be developing him. You got to go with him. But, I mean, are you willing to sacrifice the next 4 or 5 weeks, until the bye?
Well, I don't think it will be a sacrifice because I fully expect the Jets to win some of these games, starting with the Pats game. But I hear what you're saying. I mean, listen, even if it's Matty Ryan or if it's the Timmy Boyle show at some point, whomever, nobody would have accomplished a damn thing yesterday. I mean, those 5 guys, I think Dwayne Brown is done. I'm at the point now where I would sit Dwayne Brown. I would actually radically shuffle the offensive line. I would put Becton on the left side. I would pull either Mitchell or somebody off the bench, Turner probably, off the bench. I have to change stuff. Those guys, they were turnstiles, man. And whether it's Matt Ryan or a young Steve Young, running around, or young Michael Vick, it doesn't matter. You talk about like empowering Zach Wilson, trying to get his confidence. I mean, was there a jet sweep? Was there something creative? The first play of the game, left side, 6-yard loss, bang, tone immediately set. It is so early. It is so early to start complaining about coordinators. Nathaniel Hackett better wake up. Well, he better wake up, and he better realize he's got Hardman, he's got Breece Hall, who had a tweet. We'll get to that later, then deleted it. Like, already you get a sense he does not really have a sense of how to use his weapons, and he better figure it out.
Oh, well, he did come here with the understanding it was going to be Aaron Rodgers, so obviously things got thrown a wrench in there. Mike is calling from Hackensack, New Jersey. What's up, Mike?
Hey, Mike.
Hey, guys. How you doing? Listen, I don't know what happened yesterday, but Daniel Jones definitely showed me something, but that's not my concern. This defense did in the second half what they should have done in the first half. So there's a lot of questions when we start playing like the 49ers on Thursday night. What is going to happen? So this is going to be really a mixed bag year. And I got to tell you, Vegas had them at 7.5 wins. I'm like, I'm going to put the house on the over. I'm not so sure anymore now.
No. Unless you want to live in a box on the sidewalk. I mean, I certainly wouldn't run and make that bet yet. You got the Niners. You got Seattle. By the way, Sal, did you see Geno yesterday?
I did.
Played well.
I did.
Played well.
Yeah, well, the Seahawks look good. How about the Lions? I mean, you were talking about the Lions in the NFC. They lose a game at home that they got to win as 5.5-point favorites or whatever it was.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, look, BT, here's the thing. Giants had to get – right now, if I'm a Giant fan, I'm not questioning how they did it, who's up next. I'm happy that they saved the season because it was this close to being over. They were dead and buried, essentially, at halftime. Down to the Cardinals of all teams. So they came back. Jones looked great. That gives me hope moving forward over the next few weeks. Now, it's not easy, obviously, Thursday night against the Niners. Same thing back home against the Seahawks. But I at least have confidence. Like, I think they're on the same level as the Seahawks. Now, if they get blown out by the Cardinals, how could I sit here and say that today?
Yep. I mean, listen, I think the next 4 games, and I gave it to you, but let everybody know exactly what's up. At San Francisco Thursday, Seattle home at Miami. That's going to be tough. And up in Buffalo after that, and the Bills look like they got their mojo together yesterday. So I'm not saying the Raiders are that good, but the Bills looked a lot better than they did against the Jets. Who knows how long Saquon's out? I'm not even going to guess, but it seems like it's going to be a minute. Unfortunately, again, for the poor kid, geez, he can't stay healthy.
I know.
Here's the thing, though. Like, I look from a Giants fan. I wake up, I'm a Giants fan today. Like, yesterday is the kind of win if I'm coming off a 3-14 season or a 2-15 season, and I go on the road and I beat a dog team in fun, exhilarating fashion. I enjoy that win. Like, I process that differently. Now, I still enjoy the win if I'm a Giant fan, but to me, it doesn't lay the foundation for a mess, even though it's a win, for a massive, run here, because I just don't think that they've got the horses. I think that the reality check is coming soon for the Giants. I do.
Well, I mean, they almost had it. Yesterday might have been it at the first half, and they responded. And you're right, it's not just about the win. To me, it's more about how Daniel Jones played. I don't know what the hell was Daniel Jones' problem the first 6 quarters of this year. I understand the offensive line and the Cowboys' defense and all that. Well, what's the excuse yesterday? And this is the same team, same offensive line, same receivers, same backs, same team that did nothing in that first half and all of a sudden come out in the second half and could not be stopped. So I don't understand what the problem was, but it was fixed. Now, will it continue? I do have confidence moving forward in Jones. Larry is in Wantagh. What's up, Larry?
What's up, BT? This one's for you, buddy.
Oh, boy. Yes, sir, Larry. What's happening?
I've been listening for the last week about the Jets after
Yep.
a gift wrap win against the Bills.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm a Dolphin fan, so you know. I'm going to let you know.
I
after
got
that.
you. Yep.
Do you think the Jets are a better team than the Dolphins?
I cannot say that right now, no.
Okay. I wanted to hear that because you got some golden schedule coming up.
Yeah,
And I think the Jets
yep.
will be maybe 2-6 after 8 games.
Oh, then there's big problems, Larry, and I'm going to be an unhinged maniac if that's the case, and I'll be calling for everybody's head. What do you want me to tell you? I mean, 2-6, thanks for the call, is utterly reprehensible and utterly unacceptable with this defense and the pieces they have. If they're 2-6, colossal fail. And listen, something else needs to be said here, and I know it's early, and I do think that they'll beat the Pats, and I do think they'll be 2-1, and I am bullish on a wild card appearance, wild card berth, right? But how Joe Douglas enters the season with Dwayne Brown, who's almost 40 and was basically retired at left tackle, is a joke. It is negligent on the part of the Jets GM. There is no listen. You don't need to be a film buff, like a football head, to look at the tape and say, oh, my God, this guy was absolutely pushed around and abused every single snap. You can't win that way.
Yeah, but all Jet fans wanted Dalvin Cook. Oh, they were all excited about Dalvin Cook, who fumbled away the game yesterday, too. To me, that's unacceptable. You cannot fumble. I mean, but that's the point. We were all getting excited. You know, enough, BT, because how many times do we come on here and talk about the offensive line, whether it's the Jets or the Giants, and we know the importance of it. But yet we all get caught up in all the other positions, who the running back is, who the wide receivers are, who's going to be the pass rushers, whatever it may be. But yet we overlook the offensive line every single time. So if it's that important, then why are these teams not putting an emphasis on it? Why are they continue to miss it and build from the outside in?
Yeah, I don't think that they purposely ignore it. I just think it's very hard to diagnose collegiately and what's absolutely transferable from a Saturday to a Sunday. I mean, Becton's film at Louisville was all-time stuff. He came here, he flashed, and we know his story. Mm-hmm. So I just, he's same with Neil on the right side for the Giants. I mean, the guy was an absolute monster in college. Andrew Thomas, amazing in college. First 8-9 games as a pro. Oof.
Right, but with him
figured
hurt,
things out.
Well, right, but what about with him hurt yesterday? See, because I was already thinking about the excuses yesterday at halftime. Oh. And it was going to be, the offensive line's banged up, no Thomas, what do you want him to do? But yet, how come they were able to light it up and become unstoppable in the second half with that same crappy offensive line? See, to me, that means it's not an excuse. Figure it the bleep out. And they did. And they got the win. So the Jets need to figure it out. That, to me, is on coaching. Dable said it's executing, and fine, that may be a part of it, but go out there and figure it out. I don't want to hear about Dwayne Brown. I don't want to hear about this guy or that guy on the offensive line. Figure it out. The Jets were not able to do it yesterday. Now, it's against a different defense. I understand that. Yeah. But still. I mean, come on.
But here's listen, you're not wrong. But the difference is funny. I wrote down the word coaching too, and you kind of just launched into it. So, we think the same thing. The difference is, like, when the Jets regroup at halftime right now, the duo of Saleh and Hackett versus the duo of Daboll and Kafka, it's not even close.
Agreed.
It's advantage Giants.
Agreed. And that's a big story. It's a big part of what's going on here with these two football teams. We'll get to more of that on the other side.